Please stop typing. Pallavi, it's so irritating. At least put
Oh,
yourself on
sorry.
mute. Huh. Siddharth, relax. We're here, yeah. Please. We do this like gratis, okay? As you know, we have no sponsors. We only do this for the love
Professor,
of our
clearly
viewers.
you're in your wife's good books with all that bangle which you made us spend
Yeah,
2 hours.
Look, I am not in my wife's good books because I have to do a lot of touring, and my wife is not very happy about it.
I'm
Hey,
sorry,
we are
but
live. We are
Professor,
live. We are
we've
live.
got proof.
We are live.
अच्छा कितना वेट कर रहा है आपके लिए
I
Wait,
don't
kya?
know.
We are live.
100 plus. Okay, let's start. Okay. Very, very exciting week. Last week at this time, we were on the train heading back. I think you caught our Sunday club from the Shatabdi. And oh, great. We have Percy also joining us. Hi, Percival. Welcome. You could have come at 7:30 because you'd asked for permission and I had granted you permission till 7:30 for your topic.
Okay, well, I'm awake now, so that's all right.
Okay. All right.
Bear with
So
us,
let's
listen to us.
Okay, let's start. Okay, very, very important discussions to be had. Let's start first with the politics, as always. I heard Prime Minister Modi's speech today, and I think it was fantastic. He's back in attack mode. His oratory was just spellbinding. And I'm sorry if I'm fangirling, but after a long time, I think Prime Minister Modi is back in gear and really all out there and already looking like a winner. So, did any of you watch his speech?
I didn't.
No, I missed it. I haven't yet watched it. Yeah.
Oh
It was
God, so
too
he'll say it
engrossed.
is trolling us already. This man. Who watched it? Sorry, he's going to keep tweeting now. He's kind of pathetic, but it's okay.
So why
I'll keep
can't he join
sharing
us?
his.
Why isn't Suhail joining us?
He's got some plans or something. I don't know. So he's a viewer today. Oh, thanks, Siddharth. Siddharth gave us $60. Thank you. Okay, guys, please. Why isn't anyone answering? What's wrong with you all?
I told you,
We haven't watched.
you're not listening. You're so engrossed with Swale's tweets.
I
I
did.
missed it.
I
Because
did listen to him. I did listen to him.
So give
I
us
did
give us
listen
a
to him.
download.
Yeah.
Pallavi, since you're kind of boasting, let me also tell you. Tomorrow I'm going for a day to Lucknow and coming back to after meeting Advaita's big boss just to do namaste to him and back.
I should
But
also
I'm not
come,
in
no?
Lucknow. I'm in Amethi and Raebareli tomorrow. So,
And so where we are tomorrow also you're there. Oh, I'm in Lucknow tomorrow.
yeah.
I'm going in the morning and coming.
Tomorrow, both Smriti and Rahul Gandhi are going to be in Amethi. Day after, Rahul Gandhi is going to go to Raebareli. And day
Oh,
after, I go back to Lucknow.
But tomorrow PM is in
Tomorrow is
Lucknow.
going to be a big day. The Prime Minister is also in UP. No? Prime Minister is in
In
Sambal.
Lucknow.
He's in
In
Sambal.
Lucknow. He is there to do
yeah.
groundbreaking
The
ceremony.
Global Investment Summit is happening.
No, not a summit. It's a groundbreaking ceremony. People who signed MOUs and all projects which are taking off, he will sort of do a virtual groundbreaking of those.
Pallavi,
So tell-
you're in Amethi right now. So give us a brief on exactly what
Yeah.
changes you've seen from the RG years to the Smriti years. Let's hear about it from
So
on the ground.
I think I know as much as almost everything about Amethi as much as the locals do, because I've been coming here since 2004, and I was very, very frequent then because I used to come there almost every month. And the last I was in Amethi, I would say around a year back. So much has changed. What has really changed is the roads. That's something which has really become awesome. A drive from Lucknow to Amethi would take me around 4 hours. Today I drove down in just 2.5 hours, and no potholes, clean road, flyovers were there. And you know, I these little things. I mean, for example, I remember there were no petrol pumps, there was no schools. There was only one school. There were no ATM machines. There were no dhabas. I mean, people will think this is very frivolous, but that's not true. I met one boy today. He's around 22, 23. He used to work at a place in Mumbai. He was a waiter there. And he's now opened a cafeteria here. It's called Lunchbox. Okay, I think one of the best noodles and veg Manchurian I've had in recent times. I mean, it's unbelievable. But I
He'll
asked
say
him that why did
go
you
of
come
faith.
here?
The best
Sorry?
rural veg Manchurian. That's some qualification.
No, but
Go
he
ahead.
made it very well. It's doing well because there's a large number of young people here. And he says, Ki, I left because there were no jobs, but I've come back here because he got some loan. There's some startup loan he got from the bank and some PM Yojana. And now he's opened it. These are very small, small stories. And, I was talking to a large number of people and, those usual chai walas and all those kind of people. And they were telling me, like you can be forgiving. I mean, I know it's a Nehru Gandhi bastion, but naam nahi kaam bolta hai. After some time, we want jobs, we want work. I have seen a lot of change in Amethi. Definitely roads, schools, hospitals coming up. And yeah, I mean, it's the basic facilities have improved.
How do the people feel about Smriti there? This is her first term now that's coming to an end. So what are the thoughts on her?
The big thing, she's going to do a Griha Pravesh of her home on 22nd. And that's great political optics because there's a kind of, permanency when you have a house. I mean, Rahul Gandhi would come and stay in a guest house. And, she promised when she won last time round that, in the next 5 years, I'm going to have a house here. So when you set up a home there, it's like, ye mera jagah hai, ye mera ghar hai, and this is my place. I'm not going to leave Amethi. In terms of sheer political optics, it's a huge messaging which is really coming in from Smriti Irani. She's going to be here for 2 days. 22nd is the Griha Pravesh. Yeah, that's it.
Mm-hmm. And she has actually, even in 2014, I remember when she didn't win that seat, she faced a barrage of barbs for that entire term. And, people were and remember Priyanka Gandhi Vadra was like, Smriti who, etc., etc. And a lot of the Congress people used to take a lot of digs at her. And then she came back and she won like how. And now, from whatever I'm hearing, is that she's on very solid ground over there. So if she does contest again, I don't see why she won't. There's a really good chance that she's going to be back, which means Rahul Gandhi, Pallavi will remain in Wayanad.
No, Rahul is going to, I think, contest from Wayanad. He's back. He was there in Wayanad today. I'm not so sure if they're going to contest from Raebareli and Amethi because Raebareli may not be a cakewalk for Priyanka. She cannot make her poll debut with a loss, and Rahul Gandhi cannot afford another loss of face. I'm telling you, it is astonishing for a party which is a star constituency like Amethi. It doesn't even have any party workers now. They've all come in because of the Bharat Jodo Yatra is entering tomorrow. But how can you? And like this is his third visit to Amethi. I mean, if you're serious about contesting, how can you have a third visit in Amethi in the last 5 years? Same is the case with Priyanka Gandhi Vadra. I mean, I did speak to some people. They told me, chalo, we can understand that Sonia Gandhi is not keeping well. They said, we don't actually, frankly speaking, we don't even understand that because she goes to Goa, she goes to Bengaluru to campaign. Why can't she come to Raebareli? But even if you want to forgive her for that in the last 5 years, why hasn't a Priyanka Vadra come here to look after mother's constituency? Now, if suddenly she comes there and says, okay, here I am, I'm Indira Gandhi's granddaughter, and this is the emotion card, I think people have just got smarter. I don't think they want a hands-on MP who's around, who they can tell the MP, I want this work to be done. I don't want an MP who decides when he or she wants to come.
And they have a comparison,
So we're actually
benchmark. See, earlier between one politician and another politician, you could hardly differentiate. So one Neta and others. Now, this is very, very tangible differentiation as to how somebody nurtures a constituency, one doesn't. And that is for people to see. So it's just the Khandan name, etc., will not carry you through. And today, as you are saying, in Raebareli, if they come back, people have seen the difference which has happened in Amethi. And people in Raebareli would be expecting similar kind of transformation in Raebareli. So I think, therefore, but Pallavi, the tricky thing would be, I totally agree with you, it's highly unlikely they will contest, and given all the also the confusion happening within the India alliance in UP that are for that essentially to mean Samajwadi Party, who itself are facing some kind of crisis of their own. Uh, it'll be optically also very, very, shall I say, damaging for the Gandhi family not to field anyone from their home bastion after so many years.
Or
Do
they
you think
find a scapegoat. Or they find a
somebody said
scapegoat. They get someone.
someone said the other day in another show I was that they may feel Varun Gandhi as an independent?
By the way,
From where?
Congress? No, I don't know. No, I mean,
by the way,
I don't know. I mean,
by the
they
way,
can't
there
field
was a
him. I mean,
time.
he decides.
Once again, there was a time when Satish Sharma actually contested from, I think, Raebareli. So there is a
Okay.
precedent to it. They can basically ask a family retainer to fight from one of these particular constituencies. It's happened before; it can happen again. But you see, I want to point out to a broader issue. If you look at the Nehru Gandhi family, I think with the exception of Rajiv Gandhi, none of the members were actually outcome based. If you read about JRD Tata talking to Nehru about tangible results, what actually works, Nehru would be disinterested. Gurcharan Das trying to get Mrs. Gandhi to understand, what really works, and she said that this dismissive, we don't, listen to this is all capitalist stuff, etc., etc. I think outcomes, in a sense, has never actually bothered this particular family, and therefore they kept at it. I mean, they've had so many chances to do so many things to both Amethi and Raebareli. They've done absolutely nothing. What they fail to understand is the rapidity of change that has occurred over the years. People are just not willing to, accept this usual business any longer. They believe we've elected you to office, we expect certain things from you, and the more powerful you are, the better it should be for us. To say that you are a great guy, you are a sign of a particular family, and therefore you deserve to be voted. This would have worked once upon a time. I'm sure it still does with certain sections of people. But I think, as Rahul Gandhi found out to his cost in 2019, it doesn't work any longer. There are sufficient numbers of people to say, look, what have you done for us? What's your report card? I'm sorry, it's bad, and off you go. Compare it, the 5
Yeah.
years Smriti Irani invested in Amethi while she was minister is something that the Congress should have emulated or at least learned something from it. They have chosen not to. And this sense of entitlement that people have the duty to vote me back to power or to my seat, no matter what I do or don't do, this is something that I think is now beginning to affect the party, and that's why you have people now starting to leave the party in droves.
But as they say,
AIM
what
has joined.
the, really
AIM,
speaking,
AIM. One second. We've got a lot of topics to discuss, so we're done with this one. But AIM, why don't you tell us if you think Kamal Nath is moving to the BJP? There are a lot of people, BJP supporters, of course, who are very upset about this and feeling like this should not happen under any circumstances. What do you think?
भाई देखो, my thing is very straight. तुमको ज्ञानवापी और मथुरा बनाना है, हाँ या ना? Banana hai, then accept the political path that the BJP takes. Okay, this is a government under which you're not going to have corruption. Okay, so all that he's now there is the so corruption to chhod do. Kamal Nath will not be able to do it under this government. Okay, second, there is the issue of his complicity in during the emergency and his complicity in the Sikh riots. Have any of the processes against that been stopped? First, where were the processes against the emergency? He got away with all of that. So, that is not an issue right now. Riots, where is he named in it? Are there any cases against him? If there are they being stopped? No. So, kya karoge? See, you can't have everything your way. The political victory, we are not politicians out here. Any of the five of us or our viewers, I don't think any of us have it in us to advise Modi and Shah, who have won twice absolute majorities in parliament, on how to win an election. But we do have a right to tell them how to run the government. Okay. Well, not run the government, but at least what we like and what we don't like. You can't have everything. This is like going to a BMW showroom and saying, "Bhai, I like your BMW, but I want the tires from the Mercedes. I want I don't like the BMW sign in front, so I want the Rolls Royce ka this thing. I don't like the BMW ka user system, so put in the Mercedes ka user system, and the seats from the Maybach." You can't have this. Are you convinced you're getting corruption free government? Yes. Are you convinced you're going to get Gyanvapi and Mathura back? Yes. So fair problem kya hai, boss? You can't micromanage
Yeah,
what they do. Leave the election micromanagement to them. You focus on the outcomes
But
of government, what you want, what it's delivering on, or what it's not delivering on.
There are two
Abhijit, but
issues
this
I
is a point. Singularity. 1 minute. Singularity is saying, as a supporter who became a supporter for what they stood against, as much as what they stood for, do I start questioning my support for the BJP when they stood against starts becoming a part of them?
Here's the point. If somebody reforms, if somebody is no longer allowed to do corruption, if somebody is not allowed to do XYZ that you don't like, if somebody, this is a huge issue I have. The BJP supporters are the biggest bunch of people who get upset when you don't join them, and they get upset when you join them. When you don't join them, you are crook, corrupt, this, that, whatever. और जब धर्म परिवर्तन तुम्हारा होता है, see, you're not truly a believer. You're this, you're that. Yeah, many of them will be. So make up your mind. Do you want a government that has 360? They've already achieved a lot of what they promised with what they already have without a 2/3 majority. Do you want a full promise delivery of the manifesto? Yes or no? Like I said, don't concentrate on the micromanagement. Concentrate on the big picture. They promise privatization. Is it happening? Yes. They promise no corruption. Is it happening? Yes. As in, well, it's not. There's no corruption happening at the top levels. They promised mandir this and that. They promised 370 जाएगा. किया सब? हाँ. उस पे फोकस करो ना. You can't say कि ये भी होगा और ये भी होना चाहिए. नहीं बाबा, ये नहीं होता है. तुमने रेस लगा लिया है. ठीक है. पर गाड़ी में क्या ब्लू पेंट लगेगा, रेड पेंट लगेगा, उसका गियर कैसे होगा, ये यू डोंट गेट टू डिसाइड ऑन दैट.
ठीक है. Professor, one coming to you very quickly now. Professor, I want to know from you, part of the strategy is, of course, defeating your opponent, but another aspect of that strategy is weakening your opponent. And if you pull away the notable leaders, the big leaders from that political party, like the BJP is doing with the Congress, that is, in a way, a move towards demolishing your opposition, isn't it?
precisely. You see,
Can I just add?
Sure.
Okay, sorry. Just to very quickly add, we need to remember the BJP has a big deficit in dealing with bureaucrats. The Congress has a great finesse with that, which a lot of these people bring in. Okay. Jyoti, for example, is doing a fantastic job in civil aviation because he knows how to deal with the bureaucrats. Okay, he brings the same expertise that Hardeep brings in terms of dealing with bureaucrats. He knows the tricks. He knows all the chal and the chalu and all of that, and they know how to overcome that. So think of it as even better implementation minus all the guile and the. Think of it almost as a washing. I won't say a washing away of the sins, but keeping the sins in check.
Okay. Advaita, you
Yeah,
see,
go ahead.
BJP, as opposed to the Congress, has an ideological core. And therefore, any great deviation when it comes to extending membership to anybody that is seen to be a deviation from the ideological core will bring these responses, whether you like it or not. Now, the fact is, the BJP, in a sense, is a political party. And one of the things it basically wants to do is to win elections. And the entry of Kamal Nath into the BJP, I'm not too sure strengthens the BJP, or if he does enter, we don't know whether he's entering or not. I'm not too sure. What it does is to weaken the Congress. And I think one of the lessons that the BJP learned from 2004 onwards, which has been imbibed by all those people who matter in the BJP, that we should not leave any stone unturned to come back to power, because if we, on the basis of certain, I won't say moral scruples, some scruple, were not to do what could have easily been done and lose again, it will be curtains. And therefore, as a political party, the BJP will do what needs to be done. Okay. Although I think the entry of Kamal Nath, as I said, doesn't really strengthen the BJP. I'm not too sure whether it strengthens the BJP. But first, I would like to find out whether he's actually entered the BJP or not. I'm not too sure he has entered the BJP.
There's also a possibility that Kamal Nath himself does not join. He gets some others plus only Nakul Nath to join, which is pretty much the same thing. But see, absolutely, I don't think a Kamal Nath joining is to strengthen the BJP in Madhya Pradesh. They don't need a Kamal Nath to do that. Yeah. Remember? I mean, he was one man who could not defend his government. Second thing is he lost this time round. I think it's kind of a word to use. No, it is.
He's also 77. I mean, he's also 77.
He being in the Madhya Pradesh Congress has already weakened the Congress. No, I think it's more about Khundak. You know that word? Khundak? Khundak mein, I want to teach the Congress a lesson that no one wants to be with you. See, there are many people in line. There is talk about Manish Tiwari. Though Manish Tiwari I spoke to, he completely categorically rejected that. There's talk about Kamal Nath. Look, even today, for example, when I was talking to people in Amethi, and some of them who were hardcore Congress voters, they were telling me, "Pata nahi kya ho raha hai, madam? Everyone is leaving. Everyone wants to leave." It is this bubble. This is this perception which the BJP wants to build up, that Congress is a spent force, and it's all because of Rahul Gandhi. Look what is happening. Everywhere the yatra is going, it has been, in a sense, jinxed. People have been leaving. Tomorrow, when the yatra enters Amethi, we should have been talking about Rahul Gandhi in Amethi. But most probably, we are going to talk about Kamal Nath. We're going to talk about the Prime Minister in UP, Smriti Irani in Amethi. So, no one is going to talk about that. Also, the big suspense, will Akhilesh Yadav join the yatra? Because we are told that he's supposed to join tomorrow or day after. Let's see whether that happens. Is there a possibility that the Gandhi siblings don't even contest from low? I mean, as you are yourself political professor, so I don't think it is about strengthening or weakening. It is a khundak. It is to show that Congress mein rehne se koi fayda nahi hai, and get as many people out of the Congress as we can. Whether they are of use to... I met Sanjay Singh, Raja of Amethi just now. He left with his wife. There were many workers who left with him. He doesn't have a Rajya Sabha. He's not an MLA. He wasn't given a ticket. He lost. But he's there, right? So what perception did you build? That Rahul Gandhi could not even ensure that someone who's a Raja of Amethi is with them. It's this khundak, it's this perception building, which I think the BJP is working at.
So one of our viewers is saying that there's also like some kind of protest in Wayanad also going on. Chuckles is saying that. I have not heard of that.
Because unless of that elephant attack, na? Yeah. That elephant attacked that family, na? That forest officer, and Rahul Gandhi was... he had to cut short his Bharat Jodo Yatra because he was told that, this elephant menace has been going on for the last couple of days, Advaita. He was not there. So he had to cut short his Yatra yesterday, dash down to Wayanad and come back. Again, the same point. You cannot take your constituency for granted anymore. No one can. Neither BJP nor Congress or any party. People mange more. People want a hands-on MP. And I think Rahul Gandhi knows that. Yeah, Mr. P.K. Singh, that's what I've been told, but Samajwadi Party has also said that don't say that. Don't spread.
And notice how Shashi Tharoor nurses his constituency. He is there 5 days a week, looking after it. You know the kind of calls he gets. Sir, my son is not getting admission in this hospital. Please organize. He's literally a PA to the people of Thiruvananthapuram. Do you know that?
And he's very pleasant all the time, like patient. Yeah.
He nurtures that. He looks after it. In Thiruvananthapuram, you'll be hard pressed to find somebody who's upset with Shashi Tharoor in any form or way. They may not like Rahul or Congress policy or whatever, but of Shashi, I have not heard anything bad about him in Thiruvananthapuram. None of his constituents are upset with
Okay.
him or his performance as an MP. Now, do the same for Rahul
Okay.
and let's see what happens.
Sandeep, please speak. Your fans are feeling very bad for you.
Yes.
No, nothing to add here.
Oh, dear.
I think we've discussed all of it, and when Pallavi is on the spot, she has covered. But it's whether people are leaving Congress, not leaving Congress. These are open questions. Whether Kamalnath will finally leave or not leave, or just gamesmanship happening. But overall, I don't think it all reads too well for the Congress. And it seems that Congress is totally disconnected between these three-member Bharat Jodo Yatra, where only people you see is Rahul Gandhi, Jairam Ramesh, and Yogendra Yadav. I still can't figure out what is he doing over there. And the rest of the people are operating in a different universe. And there doesn't seem to be any connect between what's happening there and what anybody else is talking. And then there is this whole question mark about Priyanka's health. Why is she out of circulation? And at the India Alliance, everybody is today clearly saying that. Just now I was hearing Salim Sharwani talking about this. Again, he's unhappy with Samajwadi Party, but he was also making the similar points about India Alliance, that what's it all about? Farooq Abdullah has already said it. Nitish Kumar keeps on repeating it. So what's left of the alliance also other than Sanjay Raut? And you don't even hear other Shiv Sena people talking about it. So it's a very sorry state. And what's the BJP strategy? I don't know. In my own limited judgment, I think they are trying to totally demoralize the Congress. And that is how Modi will probably even exceed his own prediction of 370 seats there. Other than that, you don't see any of these people joining BJP adding really any value to them. Today, little bit I heard talked about the southern forays. He said people will be surprised by the. Now, it could be, you can say, bravado or wishful thinking, but there also you shouldn't be surprised to see in the days to come if there are people leaving other parties and moving, gravitating towards BJP or the India Alliance.
Pallavi, what are the Congress people saying about Yogendra Yadav's sort of omnipresence in the Bharat Jodo Yatra? Why is he there? That's a good question. And how do they feel about him, like taking such a center stage in the whole thing?
See, obviously, no one is going to be very open about it. But, and I speak to them, and I'm not saying it just because I want to attack the Congress party, as some people would think. But, I really feel sad because I have been coming to Amethi from 2004. And I see the difference between what could have happened and what didn't happen into what has happened now. I'm not saying Amethi is perfect. I'm not saying that it's complete 100% development. Obviously, there are lots of things to be done. But, you at least have an MP. Look at her program for tomorrow. She is addressing 12 meetings. She doesn't do those big rallies. She just goes into a gaon. She's doing 12 yatras, and she's going to be here till the 22nd. And that's what someone was telling me, that she's here around the clock. So when she comes here, she's taking early morning flight. She's going to drive down. Her schedule begins from 9:30, and then she goes back to a guest house, and she knows what is happening. That's what people are wanting about. Second thing is, I saw so many party workers just now near where I am now, and they're preparing for the yatra. These are the people who actually should have been preparing for elections. There's a lot of money which is being spent. I mean, they're huge hoarding. You will see all that. Huge hoardings, huge posters, little arrangement, refreshments, rehne ka jagah for the workers, buses, state of the art. I mean, these cost money. And if the Congress said that account is frozen, and which actually is not completely frozen, but the money should have actually been used for elections by now. But these are the people in UP who are going to be spending money and their time and working around the clock for the yatra. They are not going to be open about it, but they come and tell us, so that they think that we can tell them. But Congress calling us Godi, bashing us down. Oh, you're speaking this language. But boss, you listen to these people only, na? Don't listen to us. Listen. And as a democracy, I feel terrible that this is what is happening here.
There is another, I had tweeted about it, Pallavi. There are two kinds of, one question of the funding is, most of this funding which you're talking for the on-ground activities have to be done by local netas. This is not paid out of the central coffers from wherever they receive their donations.
Yeah, I saw your tweet. Yeah, bang on. Absolutely
they
bang
don't.
on. Yeah.
And these people are, they don't have money to, it's like, Suhail says, celebrating your birthday. But now that only people like him can do it, not the Congress, the ordinary people who don't have money to fight elections tomorrow. And so that's the whole issue. They are putting this, puts an enormous tax. I put in another tweet, and I know it for a fact, that once in Rahul Gandhi's rally in Akola or Amravati somewhere, I don't want to name the other leader, he was asked to cough up a few crores of rupees to organize that rally. And he said, why should I? What is going to get me? It's nothing. And that's when he fell from grace of the powers. So at this juncture, when you're putting this expenditure, I know, again, Madhya Pradesh and other places where the Bharat Jodo Yatra, people were complaining that, anywhere they go, the local hospitality has to be given by the local leaders, local party office, and it costs damn lot of money, whereas only the buses and the photo ops are maybe financed by Delhi. So this is tactically also very stupid. No, you could have justified it by saying that if it was really creating the buzz like your Rath Yatra, Mandir Rath Yatra or something of that kind, this is a damn squib. Nobody knows, it's only for social media and a few people. It's not, you're spending how many crores, Pallavi? It was reported the officially declared figure, I think, of Congress on Bharat Jodo Yatra was some 74 crores. That was the declared figure number given to.
76 or 74. I'm not too sure.
In that region, this isn't declared to the Election Commission.
I have a quick question before we move on to the next topic. Is Sidhu joining the BJP, rejoining rather? That's the other thing that's been doing the rounds.
So I did ask him
Anyone
this question. I did ask him this question, but see, he retweeted an old post he had with Priyanka as well as Rahul Gandhi to make the point, I'm not leaving you anywhere. I don't even know whether BJP would want to take him. One possibility is that he may float his own party, and then you know what happens, the Captain Amrinder Singh route. That is what they do. But I don't know if the BJP would be too sure of taking Navjot Singh Sidhu. I asked him. But Suhail, instead of sending those silly SMSs and all, why didn't you just join? So I think Sidhu may not leave now. He's waiting to see how bad it gets for Punjab Congress and if he gets something in exchange. But I have a doubt if he's going to get. That's what he told me. Main nahi chhod raha hu. But the more they deny, the more I don't believe them.
That's true, but Pallavi, Advaita, what I think would be the BJP strategy in terms of Punjab is concerned, they will have to create some dissensions and differences within the existing ranks. That's a part of their strategy to diffuse this whole farmers' crisis. Unless you create those, some kind of contrary opinion. So although Sidhu may say that I'm not leaving, but he did make a comment about this MSP, saying that what a ridiculous demand that is. So once you have like that, or even if Manish Tiwari and other people start talking on those lines, you have the cracks emerging.
Yeah.
And when is the alliance going to finalize its seat sharing, Pallavi?
God knows. We are looking at end of Feb. It was supposed to be finalized. 31st December was the last day. Then Jan, then Feb. I don't know. Who are they going to talk to? There's only DMK left. When you don't need to talk much. It's there. Samajwadi Party, I'm going to see if Akhilesh Yadav turns up tomorrow or day after. But again, does it make a
How many days?
RJD, I mean,
We need to move on now from this topic. Anyone? We've already done a show on Sandesh Kali, but anybody here who has any comments to make on that particular situation, since all of you have a Bengal link.
Look, it's clear to me that the TMC does use rape as a political tool to
Yes.
keep people in line. Let's not doubt this any longer.
Oh, that's
What
mm,
is stark now is the intellectual sanction that it receives
Mm.
from these so-called intellectuals of Bengal. Let us make, let us call it out for what it is. I
Yes.
mean, I am yet to see. You look, I can understand certain people in Bengal being anti-BJP, but given the preponderance of CPM supporters in the news media, in channels, etc., how come the usual suspects are not talking about it? Okay, the wire carried it for a day, and then the wire is basically now quieted down. The fact remains that they think that this is something, if it is used against the BJP, then it's absolutely okay. And this, I think, must be repeated over and over again. You know,
Yes.
that some people get a free pass because they have certain intellectual pretensions. This has to end. They have to be called out that they are supporters of rapists, they are supporters of rape as a tool for political suppression. This has to be told to them over and over again. Because unless they are
yeah.
called out and shamed, I'm afraid this will happen. You know what is the TMC doing? It's playing a waiting game. It is waiting for Sandesh Khali to die down. And let us face it, unless somebody takes the effort to keep on ensuring that the embers still glow, it will die down. And they
Yes.
will tell their
Mm,
supporters, look, we did it and we will do it again. And they will tell their opponents, this is what we can do. And after a few complaints, after a few few days of outcry, people will forget it all over again. They will say
Yes.
this is 2021 redux. That's all.
yeah. AIM, did you know this?
Know
I,
what?
I knew she was a Rhodes Scholar, but
Know
first
what?
The comment.
The Rhodes
Parliament.
Scholar. No.
Yeah.
F- she wasn't the first Rhodes Scholar, is she?
To enter
I have no
Parliament,
idea, but
First woman
she's
Rhodes
been
Scholar
tweeting
to
about.
enter
Who
parliament.
know? Who knows? Who gives a shit? She came out and justified what happened at Sandesh Khadi. Remember that.
Yeah.
That's the
Yeah.
only thing you need to remember, which shows you that you can be Rhodes and you can be member of parliament. And you see, there's a Bengali saying, no matter how high the vulture flies, it will always only eat rotting carrion from the ground. She is
Mm,
that vulture.
Also, Abhijit, she said that there was no rape, and now there has been one
Yeah.
arrest which has been made, and now there has been an admission by the police over there
Yes.
also that there was indeed one case of gang rape. So, from
Yes.
starting with the point that there was no rape at all, and it's been concocted by the media and the BJP and the Godi media, now they're saying there was a rape. How do we then believe
And
that there were no more rapes?
There
and
was
I
And
a
want
what?
you to
tweet.
go
And I'm
back.
sorry to interrupt you here, Abhijit, but very
Yeah.
quickly, they too are then guilty of whataboutery, because if
Yes.
they accuse the BJP of whataboutery, ये लोग भी तो यही बोल रहे हैं ना कि what about Manipur, what about this? How are you then different from the BJP? I'm so,
Yeah.
as a woman also, I think this is so pathetic. I mean, you can be different, right? This was your chance to be different, right?
Yes. कहाँ का
Chance to be
different?
different.
Arey,
Come
go
on, yeah.
back to this lady's timeline. First of all, remember, Shagorika has a history. Go back to her timeline during Me Too and see what all she was tweeting. And then you remember how she sexually harassed a mutual friend of ours, Raghav Avasti, the lawyer. There was that story that came out during Holi that somebody were throwing semen-filled balloons. She went after him and said, "Hey, naughty boy, tell us it was you only, filling your semen and throwing it at girls. Naughty boy, tell us, tell us." Have we forgotten
are you
that?
serious?
Yeah, she did it publicly on Twitter. She's deleted the tweet, but the screenshots.
And by
Mm,
the way,
I
there was
don't
a
know.
Trinamool spokesperson, a lady, who said there is no footage of the rape. She said it on TV.
Yeah,
Since there
she
is no
did.
footage of the rape, why should we accept that rape actually occurred? She said it, and there is no outrage.
Mm, yeah. Anyway, it's terribly tragic, and we're going to keep following this. And I think, as rightly pointed out, we have to be very clear and specific about what is happening there, because that's the least we can do for those women who've been incredibly brave to come out publicly under these circumstances. I can't think of braver women right now in this country. And let's move on now to the big Supreme Court decision this week on the electoral bonds. And delighted to be joined by senior advocate, Supreme Court advocate, Percival Billy Moria. Thank you for being with us this evening. And if you can just break it down, in a nutshell, exactly what this judgment was.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. First of all, very good to see my dear friend Abhijit. So, Advaita, the decision was it had two issues. One issue is because the electoral bonds previously had a limit. A corporate contributing to election funding could do so only to a certain percentage of the profits, 7.5% of the average of the last 3 years. In 2017, this was amended to make it unlimited. So somebody could fund elections through the instrument of bearer electoral bonds. And the question was whether this is constitutional. And the second issue was the 2017 amendments afforded anonymity. And this was the second issue, whether anonymity is constitutional. On the first issue, the court has ruled that it is unconstitutional, and they say that it is contrary to Article 14. It is arbitrary. Even on the second issue, it is contrary to Article 19, which is the right to information, which is the right of the voter to know. It is the right, according to the court, the right of the voter is to understand and know who is contributing to electoral funding, which corporates. Now, mind you, this is specifically for corporates, not for individuals. It is only corporate funding. Now, I must tell you that this is a very complex subject the world over, even in the mature democracies, so-called mature democracies. If you see the US, for example, there's a lot of debate about these PACs and super PACs. A PAC is a political action committee. And there are decisions of the Supreme Court of the United States which enable unlimited funding. In fact, there is a decision on the same issue, Citizens United, a 2010 decision, which has enabled these super PACs to fund elections. Now, this has been severely criticized. It has been severely criticized, and I am unfortunately on the side of those who criticize it, because corporate funding per se is definitely a problem. We do have a problem if you have corporate funding. The issue really is that if you ban them, if you ban corporate funding by law, then you will have illegal funding, which is what we had. So there is a element of practicality that you have to bring to this debate, and understand that, look, this is something that you cannot stop. There will always be private interest groups. So it is better to have a legitimate means of funding rather than illegitimate, because we all remember what used to happen previously. There was a particular period from 1969 to 85 when corporate funding was banned. Companies could not fund elections either through official channels or otherwise. But what prevented them from funding unofficially? So the Supreme Court has only looked at what is the issue before them. It is not really the mandate of the Supreme Court to go into all these issues. These are all political issues. These are also largely philosophical issues. And I can certainly tell you that, in my view, philosophically, corporate funding is troublesome. But it's at the
Okay.
same time unavoidable. So I think right now we should all be putting our heads together and debating how do we solve this conundrum. And that is something which is also happening in the United States and other mature democracies.
I want to ask Sandeep Ghosh, being our resident CEO, How does this work with corporates? I mean, are they going to just stop funding
See, I
now? Are
think
they getting nervous?
you see, first of all, the point advocate makes is, I think, very, very pertinent. You need to be practical about this. In Bengali, again, since Abhijit was saying, there are two things we say: dhammogan and kandogan. Kandogan means common sense, and dhammogan means sense of propriety, or more than propriety. The noble thinking. You have to have a balance between the two. So if you don't have a balance, then you are. So people who were saying that no, this is a way of legitimizing corporate or business funding, etc. And it's wearing blinkers. What was happening before that? Again, something which the advocate said. Rashid Kidwai in his book writes that how Motilal Vora's thing was he used to finish early dinner, and then he'd be walking up and down not 10 Akbar Road, and in the evenings, and count the wait for the vehicles that were coming in carrying transload or cash load, and taking stock of that. That was his job. So this has been there from time immemorial. The suitcases, the briefcases, the rest of it. And so to say that by this you've suddenly abolished a whole lot of a crime, etc., I think that is really, really very naive of people. And without digressing, as I've also tweeted, I think this is going to land, though they're rejoicing, celebrating, this is going to land the opposition into a bigger issue in the short term, at least. The short-term issue would be now is so close to the elections, they would need funding, and if they can't get funding through corporate bonds, through electoral bonds, they have to get it through cash, and then you'll find in the ED, IT, everybody going on an overdrive to control it, and that'll really can choke their funding much more. Secondly, as the data has been coming out, it is not that CPIM can say that they refuse getting corporate bonds, electoral bonds. They never took it as a matter of policy, but in any case, I'm not sure who would have contributed to them. But when the figures are coming out today, you'll find the opposition parties, Trinamool. I know in the case of TRS, DMK it was published, NCP it was published, not to mention Congress itself. There's been humongous amount. Obviously, BJP will get a lion's share, being the party not only in power at the center, but in several states. But the amount of money received by these people were not insignificant. And now if the Supreme Court, I'm very surprised by this part of the judgment, and I would love to hear advocates' views on this, that declaring the donors on a post facto basis, if that is done, what kind of embarrassment it is going to cause the donors who put in money, and how it will affect the funding for Congress, etc. Now, when running into the so close to the election.
But
So that's
Sandeep, my question, you've not answered my question. Like, how is the corporate world in your little club where you all sit in the evenings and
I'm
chit
not
chat?
member of any club, not a member of any club, Advaita. See, corporate things, let's be very clear, the bigger corporates who give money, some small corporates will give a crore or two here or there, depending on the local MLA, MP, or even if something comes, those are very small change. The bigger corporates would do, there was always a Hathi ka daant dikhane ke liye, and separate. So you have Tata's, ITC, everybody having this so-called electoral funds, where they declare what is the donation was happening and to what proportion, and they had some very, again, a silly formula, which to my mind doesn't make sense. They show what is the percentage of vote share of different parties. On that basis, they try to be equitable. Now, you cannot, that cannot be a yardstick on what percentage of vote share I've got yesterday. And if you really want me to come back to power, and you say that I've given you, so that was more cosmetic. People who had to do things, and we know some big corporates, again, not taking their name, how much power they wielded not just for elections, otherwise. That is how it was reviewed. So the corporates would also have an issue, I think, right now, is once these name lists are revealed, that would cause them a great deal of discomfort and embarrassment of what has happened there. But I thought this electoral bond scheme could have had flaws. It had flaws. It was certainly not perfect. No laws are perfect. It could have been improved upon several notches, but to throw it away out of the window like baby bathwater and at all, I think is a very, very retrograde step to my mind. While acknowledging the problems, maybe the Supreme Court could have asked the government to come back with a scheme to address the concerns, rather than suddenly, come down with a say this is unconstitutional and everything is there, and while people are clapping, you'll see the pain emerging. And in the Modi regime, let me tell you, it's not going to be easy for people, or as easy for people in the past, to move around cash in that big way as used to happen earlier.
Okay, and very quickly, Percy, I want to ask you. There's also the judgment says that within 3 weeks, uh, parties have to reveal who all have donated funds in the last
Yeah.
whatever stipulated period.
Yes, so that's a little difficult part of the decision because, in a way, there are donors who, on the assumption of anonymity, have donated, and now they find that there is a decision which, in some way, with retroactive effect, their names are going to be revealed. You see, the whole issue here is, first of all, I must say that the judgment is excellent, and I think if you look at the way the judgments now are coming out, especially from the Chief Justice, they read like corporate reports, properly indexed. It's a pleasure to read, very, very lucid. So I think Justice Chandrachud is fast heading to become one of the prime jurists of the country ever. And I think that's something that we should really be proud of. So I don't find any fault with the decision, but the practical aspects, which we heard from Mr. Ghosh, practically, how does this pan out? Because if you're a corporate and you've donated, and only disclosure was the total amount of donations, not broken up into which party, which was previously the case. I mean, previously you had to declare how much you gave to which party. Now the only disclosure made is the total quantum of the donations made. And then now you find a situation where your names are going to be posted on the website of the commission. So that's a little difficult, and I think there will be a lot of corporates who will be worried about this. And
Yeah,
why? Issue is why, because look, the point is that in our polity, the fear of retribution is a legitimate fear.
Yes.
Right? In fact, previously, why did this electoral bond scheme come in the first place? Because previously there was complete disclosure requirement, and it was found that because of that disclosure requirement, corporates were hesitant to donate. That was the whole idea. So that anonymity was afforded to them to overcome this hesitation.
And also, I'll chip in.
Can I ask one question to? I'm sorry,
one-
yeah, Sandeep. I just want one question, so he'll respond to you. I was told by one Congress leader, Mr. Biliboria, that political parties don't have to pay income tax. Is that true? They insisted that they don't have to pay. So therefore, this entire case is only wrong.
Yes.
I mean, I know it's a little sideline from the electoral bonds. Yeah, sorry.
You're going to electoral bonds. This is a different thing you are saying. Only thing I'll add before Advocate goes on to Pallavi's question is very legitimate, and many of your viewers would like to hear that. To some extent, when you were asking me about views, a lot of corporates were happy with the electoral bond because they could obviate a lot of local demands. If you're running a corporation across the country in various places, everybody comes in for a pound of flesh. You could tell them that, see, I'm doing this, I've given so much, it's gone to your central coffers. Please talk to your high command whom they want to give that money to. Don't come to us. And if I'm sitting at X, somebody will tell me, give it to me, the money, etc. Now, all that will disappear. And I recall during the hearing, one of the remarks CJI Chandrachud had made regarding cash is that cash has a benefit because everyone gets a cut from the person who's collecting it till the way it's going up. So whereas in electoral bonds, there is a pushback because nobody gets that cut because whatever they're getting, it goes into the coffer. So again, all that. Sorry, go ahead.
And I think we should wrap this up now. We're running out of time also, but I have one final question for the entire panel, and please answer it as per what your reading of this is. Prime Minister Modi in his speech today said, again, great speech, huh? But said that in the coming times, there are some major decisions that we have to take and actions we need to take. So it's really important, that everyone kind of votes, goes out there, votes, supports, all of that. So asking every one of you, what do you think is that one big ticket item that he is referring to? And I'll start with AIM and then Professor Percy, Pallavi, and Sandeep. Last word to Sandeep.
Repeat one big ticket. What? In what sense?
He's saying there are a lot
One
of
big
big
bang
decisions that we have to take. Big bang reforms that are coming up that we need to take. So we need to come back to power. And
there is no one. I think the biggest one for me will be the Gautam Chikarmani reforms, which is that entire corporate this thing. Second will be uniform civil code. So we're going to see massive deregulation happening, and we're going to see a uniform civil code happening next time. Not to mention Gyanvapi and
Okay.
Gyanvapi and yeah.
UCC, CAA, and possibly One Nation, One Poll. Some headway they'll try to make.
CAA to ho gaya hai. They're implementing
CAA
CAA
to ho
already.
gaya, but UCC and One Nation, One Poll pe more they'll fast track. Try to get into that.
I think One Nation,
And
One Poll
NRC?
is not feasible.
And farm laws. I think it's going to bring back the farm laws.
I think so too.
Yeah. See, as part of economic reforms, the farm laws will have to come back in one form or the other.
To come. Yes.
Yeah. So I think I'll go with, apart from this, I'll go with what Abhijit said. But as for One Nation, One Poll, I don't think that's feasible at all. We started with One Nation, One Poll, not in the legal sense, but at the time of 1952. But the problem is there will be midterm polls, and then you cannot align them to go with the national poll. So I think that's not going to happen. But as for the others, I think I'll go with Abhijit.
You can go with me also, Professor.
No. One Nation, One Poll will not happen.
I said fast track. I never said it's going to happen. I said fast
Not
track.
happen.
Yeah, definitely. I would certainly hope it's UCC and deregulation. The economy needs a massive dose of deregulation, but please don't forget that this government has already brought in a lot of deregulation. Yeah. Look, remember, in the time of the UPA, they had what is known as empowered group of ministers, right? So things like, say, natural gas, which is very scarce, it was allocated by an empowered group of ministers. I think the moment this government came in, they said, okay, let's auction it. Right. So this whole, I'm relating this back to this judgment because this whole issue of quid pro quo, quid pro quo is essentially to prevent what we know as crony capitalism. Now, crony capitalism works in an environment where you have controls, because in return for political donations, of course, it's a nexus that can never be proved. You cannot establish it. But even if you surmise, see, the very nature of policy, what is policy? Policy, any policy that you have will benefit some and will not benefit some. So let's say you increase import duty, and somebody will say, okay, well, this is to benefit a corporate who wants protection for his products. Now, that is a surmise, right? But if you do not have controls in the economy, bureaucratic strangleholds, and if those are released, then the chances of political corruption is negligible. And this government has already gone a long way to achieve that. And I do hope that it completes the task during this the new term.
Thank you. And Mr. Ghosh, last to you.
Very quickly, all the other points made, I think, are largely political agenda. But Mr. Modi, to leave his mark and realize his ambitions of making India a developed economy and move on to the number 3 and the rest of it, would need to fast track the development agenda. And to do that, one of the biggest hurdles which we don't realize for anything the government wants to do are the state governments. State governments don't play tandem. There is a lot of blocks there, including, most importantly, land acquisition. Without land acquisition, you can allocate how much money you want for infrastructure projects, but those will not move forward. This farm laws, again, you've said, farm laws may not come back just the way it was. It can come. So he will have to do many of those to essentially, that'll not just debottleneck. I think that has to really, the locks have to be opened up for the economy to move forward. And that's where you will see many more actions. So if indeed this 370 plus or 400 plus or some of these co-options which you are seeing today, I think these are meant to serve two purposes. One is to ensure that some of these things, when it gets pushed to the state government, BJP has maximum number of state governments under its belt, and so they can play it. See, the double engine Sarkar, the only place it works is UP, and you're seeing the difference of it. Just imagine if other states actually worked on a double engine Sarkar basis, how much more steam there would have been in the system. So that's going to be his thing. And again, the same people will help him diffuse political issues when it becomes, matters of acrimony between states or the regional parties in there. So I would be looking at the hard decisions on that and certain hard decisions in defense and security, if I may add it.
All right. Percy, yeah, go ahead, please.
Yeah, just one thing to supplement. There's also labor reforms. Look, some of our
Yes.
labor provisions. I mean, I'll just give you a very simple example. 1948 Factories Act. Okay. Now there is a provision there that you must have proper toilets, and a proper toilet must have a chain of a particular length. Now, you're talking about an era when you had chains from tanks which are overhead in Indian toilets. Now you have toilets which do not require chains. So sometimes there was a client who was telling me just last week that they have a chain of a particular length, although that it just hung from the ceiling just to comply with this provision. So
No.
this is how
Those are ridiculous.
you need to clean up all
I
this.
love it.
Labor laws
Yeah.
are absolutely, labor reforms is very, very true.
Well, that's it from us today. And thank you, everybody, for joining us. Really appreciate it. If you liked this podcast, please go ahead and share it. Please do like. And of course, subscribe to the channel, become a member if you want to support us. I'd rather support me because it's a really tough job getting all these people to come on into one space. And it's a lot of work, as you can see. And really enjoyed this conversation today. And I hope to have all of you. Well, I know I'll have all of you back here. Bonded labor.
I can
So no
help
labor
you.
reforms.
I can help
No
you raise
labor
more
reforms.
funds by doing a special song.
Oh no,
Join
not
the
again.
scene.
Why are
Please
you
don't
called
know.
celestial, divine, dancing diva? Why?
Oh yeah, so I can do a special celestial diva dance for you. Ding 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 ding
That is
ding
not.
ding
That is not.
ding 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 ding.
You are not going to
ding,
get any
ding.
sponsors.
Oh, see, she's also come. She
I'm anyway not getting any sponsors, so it
Now
doesn't
you
matter.
certainly won't. Now
Oh,
you
so
certainly won't.
sweet. So sweet.
Okay.
Oh,
Now you might.
Oh,
This is not Advait. This is not my namesake.
No, this is Aparajita.
Yeah, actually,
Okay.
this
See,
is Aparajita.
people are already loving it. Bye. Thank you. Lovely meeting
She
you.
bye.
loves
Okay, so
she loves her daddy's
bye,
dancing.
Lovely meeting you. Bye.
daddy
Bye.
or mummy? Oh, mummy
I'm
ji.
daddy.
Mummy ji.
I'm daddy.
You're not mummy ji.
I'm-
I thought you're
no.
mummy ji.
No, I'm daddy. She's my little daughter. Boochie, 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 boochie. Hmm.
Where are your
Okay,
cats?
bye.
Yeah, you discriminate against your cats. Bye.
No, he's roaming around killing kabooters and crows and God knows what not.
Oh dear. Oh dear.
Yeah.
But anyway, so this has been a fun chat, and I think we should say bye to our viewers. Bye, viewers. Thank you for joining
Catch
us.
you
Tata
soon.
viewers. Tata
Bye.
bye.